I promise you, you will think about Etsy niche research differently after watching this video. Let's get into it. I'm Shay. I'm a beginner to Etsy. I started my store in January of this year, and my goal is to build a six-figure store by the end of 2023. So on this channel, I'm sharing my sales each month, I share my progress, and I'm also sharing strategies and basically revealing every single thing I am doing to try to break into the Etsy marketplace as a beginner. So if you're interested in that, if you're interested in also building a six-figure store with me, or you just want to learn more about what it's like being a beginner on Etsy, please like, subscribe, and follow along. Also, I did want to say I've been trying to make these videos as quickly as possible, but I think that I'm going to be posting just one a week from here on out, most likely every Thursday. So just a heads up about that. I know that you guys have very specific questions and specific things and strategies you want me to cover. So I can always make shorts about those as well. I will be posting shorts throughout the week, but still expect one video on Thursdays. So this video is all about niche research, and it is part 2 of a 5-part series that I'm doing that's just revealing every single strategy I've done on my Etsy store up until this point. So in part 1, which I'll pop that up on the screen, we went over mindset and developing a system and really just the things that you need to know ahead of time in order to be successful as a beginner on Etsy and in order to build a store that's going to consistently grow. And then this is part 2. We're going to talk all about niche research, finding your ideal customer, and really just creating that cohesive store. Part 3 is all about creating good designs, and that also includes your listing photos and kind of just the visual things that go into Etsy. Part 4 is going to be all about SEO and finding those good keywords that you can use. In part 5, we're just going to bring it all together, and I'm going to share things about marketing, branding, and really just every other thing that I've been doing in my store up until this point. Okay, so let's get into this video and talk about niches. There are a lot of videos out there about Etsy niche research. It's a hot topic. It's kind of a clickbait topic. Everyone wants to know what to sell on Etsy, especially as a beginner, right? And I think that there are kind of 2 different categories that a lot of this Etsy niche information falls into. And one is people are showing really great selling products on Etsy, right? They're like, wow, look at this product that sold $2,000 in 1 month. But they're not really considering how easy it is to replicate those results as a beginner on Etsy. So that item that's selling really, really well, it could be 2 years old, 3 years old. That store could be a very established shop. And so you need to also consider how easy it is to replicate those results and to get quick sales as a complete newbie in that particular niche. And then the second thing that I think a lot of people talk about when they talk about niche research is they might show you really good products that have low competition and high search and good keywords, but it's still just a specific product and just kind of a one-off sort of thing. And really, when we're talking about a niche, we are talking about building a brand, building a store. You want a target audience. You want to have a cohesive looking store, and you don't just want a bunch of random things. I've talked about that and the mistake that I have made with this in the past, where I was kind of just jumping around to random things, and that is not the way to go. It is much better to have a cohesive store and to try to serve a particular group of people. So I think that there are 5 parts that a successful niche needs to have on Etsy. And I am actually going to scoot over because I'm sure I will need the space as I pop these up on the screen. So the very first thing is the best niches are going to, number 1, serve a specific customer or provide a specific service. So what I mean by this is specific customer. That's there's plenty of examples of that. There are shops that are just create digital products for realtors, right? There are shops that just create digital products for busy moms. So you want to have a specific type of audience that you want to serve. You don't just want to create a bunch of random things for a bunch of random people. The other way you can go with this is if you're creating a similar and cohesive product, but for different types of people. So an example of this is if you're a branding store. So if you sell like Instagram templates and branding templates, that kind of stuff, you don't have to just sell those to one type of person. You could sell them to you could sell them to realtors and massage therapists and podcasters, right? There's so many different people that you could sell within that, but you still would be known as like the go-to marketing store, and you still would be a very cohesive store. Second thing that your niche really needs to have is the ability to have a lot of different products. So obviously, I just said you kind of want to niche down. You want to have a specific customer that you're selling to, but you still want to be able to have a large amount of products and variations and things that you can do within that specific niche. And we'll go more into that in a second. The third thing is I do think that your store needs to meet a specific problem or solve a specific need. And that's really not as hard as it sounds. So most of the time, your products will probably save time for somebody, right? So if you're selling like types of productivity templates for busy moms, it would help them save time, right? Or it could help them save money. You could be doing budgeting templates. Or if you're doing branding templates, it could help their brand look good, right? There is a reason that people are buying your products. So make sure you know that reason and make it clear in your own shop branding, in your listing photos. Just kind of highlight, look at what this thing can do for you, right? So you want to make sure that you're solving a particular problem or meeting a particular need. So at this point, I did want to talk briefly about print on demand, because I know some of you are print on demand. I am doing digital products, so this is from a digital product standpoint, but I do think that this can apply for print on demand. A lot of you might be selling t-shirts, and it's like, how is that t-shirt solving a particular problem? Well, the thing about print on demand that's so powerful is its giftability, right? So most of the time with print on demand, people are specifically looking for gifts. So that is a particular need that you're meeting for someone that you can definitely highlight and hone in on. So I just wanted to point that out. The fourth thing that our niche needs to have is it needs to have proven bestsellers. And not only that, but also newer shops that are kind of on the scene, that are ranking high in this particular niche or with these particular products. So you want to be able to see proof that new shops like you are able to make sales in that niche. So again, I will go into exactly what I mean by this in a second and show you an example. Okay, so then the last thing is that I think a good niche needs to have a lot of keywords with low competition and higher search volume. And so that goes kind of back to the products. You want to have plenty of products that are going to have good keywords that are going to obviously help you get seen as a completely new shop. Okay, so let's go into detail about each of the 5 criteria, and I will walk you through an example from start to finish of how I would do this research. So I do want you to just kind of brainstorm different niche ideas. I'm sure there are many that you've already heard of, and you can even think about things that you're interested in. If you're a photographer, then why not, research and see if the photographer niche could be a great niche, right? You could make all kinds of digital templates for photographers, Lightroom presets. There's so many things in that niche that could potentially work. So just jot down different ideas, things that you already know about, and then, I'm sure you've seen videos and seen lists of good niches. I'm going to pop up on the screen some niches that I think are good. Obviously, these are not the only niches that I think do well. And in fact, if you can find a niche that is less well known but still has higher search volume, that's even better. You definitely don't want to be designing in a niche that every single other new store is designing in. But here are some ideas. I've definitely sold products in some of these, so I personally know that they are good. And then a lot of these niches also do meet my niche criteria. And some of them I'm like, dang, kind of wish that I had started. If I were to start over, I would consider designing in that niche. So go ahead and screenshot some of these ideas. So I do want to go into a specific example in order to illustrate all the other niche criteria and kind of the process that you need to do in order to narrow down what niche you want to sell in. So ideally, you would have brainstormed and you have a handful of niche ideas. Now we actually are going to narrow that down and run it through our 5 niche criteria and make sure that it's actually a niche that is going to be profitable. So for the purpose of this video, the niche that I've chosen to explore further is templates for people who are getting married. Creating Canva templates and sort of like digital printable templates for weddings and for people that are getting married. It's a very, very profitable niche. There's a lot of people searching for it. And I do think that there are still areas that you can break into as a new shop. Okay, so this niche already meets criteria number 1 because it's specifically for people who are getting married. So we're good. We've met that one. So number 2 is we want to make sure that we have plenty of product possibilities. So in order to do that, we're actually going to hop over into Etsy. So I'm going to start by just searching wedding templates, just pretty broad, because we just want to get an idea of what's going on in this niche and really if there's plenty of products. I mean, I already know from this niche that there is a wedding day binder, wedding itinerary, wedding design guide, whatever that is, planner, wedding itinerary. It's like a bundle of different wedding signs. So you have a seating chart, you have a table sign, there's probably dozens of different types of wedding signs, right? Like there's the honeymoon fund sign, there's different wedding QR code signs. So there's so many options there. So I would really just be jotting all of these product ideas down because we are going to look closer into them later on. Some type of mobile wedding, something that's cool. A digital wedding planner, that's interesting. Yep, we got more of these signs. Okay, so yeah, I mean, at this point, we probably have at least 6 to 10 product ideas for this niche. So we also know that creating digital templates in this niche is going to solve a particular problem for this niche, right? People who are getting married, they might be stressed, they might be overwhelmed with the planning, they don't know what to do. And if they can just go on Etsy and find a already made for them template, right, that'll save them tons of time and tons of stress. So this is a great niche to be able to identify and highlight the problems that you are solving for your target audience. So we've kind of already seen promising results so far looking at this niche in Etsy, but we want to specifically look for proven bestsellers. We want to see that there's a lot of bestsellers in this niche among varying products. So maybe we have like 6 to 10 potential products within this niche. We want to make sure that that plenty of those products are actually bestsellers. And then we also want to check and make sure that there are newer shops that have either bestsellers or at least are making sales and breaking into this niche. So hopping back into Etsy, and I'm still just in that general search, I can already tell that this niche is most likely going to meet criteria number 4, because right off the bat in the most loved, there are several shops that are pretty new, right? We don't want all the shops to be like, tens of thousands of reviews, but there are several new shops. You can even hop into them, kind of look into it more if you want to. This is a great example because this shop is selling a lot of this product. So this is a really, really good product idea there. Let's see. Yeah, digital wedding planner. There's that same itinerary. Man, that person is really marketing that itinerary. Some kind of wedding bundle, but that's a pretty new shop. We also want to look for bestsellers, which that newer shop, that item was a bestseller. And you can't always see bestsellers if they have a sale going. Just a heads up. Let's see if we can find any more bestsellers here. Okay, this one, oh, we already talked about this one. This one was a bestseller. This one's a bestseller. Yeah, so a lot of the ones that are running sales are actually bestsellers. We're not going into too much detail about every single product, but just to get an idea and make sure that there's plenty of bestsellers and there's plenty of newer shops that are selling and newer shops, in fact, have bestsellers. So I think that this niche totally passes that. There are a couple of other products that I just have been testing their free versions. One is Everbee. I'm not going to go into great detail about that. There are plenty of videos about that. I just have used their free version before, but another one I found that I think is even better than Everbee is called Alura. It's Alura, and basically it's this Chrome extension that allows you to spy on the sales of individual listings, which is amazing. So this can be super helpful during your niche research as you're like, okay, is this even going to sell well? Are new stores selling it? Each listing will have this little Alura icon, and you can click on it and it will pop up the estimated, wow, this listing is crazy. It will show the estimated sales and revenue of that listing. Anyways, that is wild. I really am interested to see this one because that was from that new shop. Okay, wow. I know I'm supposed to stick to my niche, but this is such a good product. So you can see that the estimate revenue so far that shop has made from this itinerary is $745. Yeah, wow. Guys, this niche is so good. This is like better than my niche, I'm not gonna lie. That's why I told you if I were to start again, I would highly consider doing a wedding store. Okay, anyway, so I hope that gives you a good idea of a way to do this research. So the final thing in step 5 is really just looking into the keywords, diving into them, making sure that they don't have a crazy high competition. Obviously, at this point, if we've already seen that, newer shops are able to sell this, that probably the keywords are good, but we are going to double check that. So the way that I do keyword research is right now I use erank. The reason I use them is because they are the cheapest. I believe I pay $6 USD per month. And they might have a free trial. If not, there are some other, like Marmalade, I know has a 1-month free trial. They are more expensive though. But I know that some of you don't want to spend money on Etsy, and I get that, but at the same time, I you really have to find a way to do the specific keyword research and actually see the competition versus search volume for some keywords within your niche. So I am in erank and I am in their keyword tool. And I have my list of notes that we jotted down from when we were just doing our research on Etsy about different products. So there are several different ways that you can do this. You can, well, in fact, you'll want to do it general, and then you'll also want to narrow down, and we'll search specific keywords as well. But I'm just searching wedding template, and I actually want to search and see if there are other keywords related to wedding template that are going to be good keywords. So obviously you can tell that this is not a good keyword. In general, you want these all to be dark green or light green or even yellow, kind of depending on what it is. But for me, the most important two things I look at, the competition needs to be like 15,000 or lower, I would say, preferably below 10,000. And then the average searches needs to be preferably above 500. If it's several hundred, that could be okay, but it kind of just depends on the ratio. Another side note, this is for USA searches, but you can actually change the country. So just a heads up for those of you who are based in different countries. Okay, so I'm just going to scroll and see. So wedding itinerary, yep, just as I suspected, it's a good keyword. Competition is a little bit high, but I think that there are probably other keywords within this that are even better, and there are ways to maybe niche down a little bit more within this. Wedding timeline, great keyword, really, really great. The searches on this are really high. That's almost better. So I would rather have something with a high search and slightly higher competition than if this was like 5,000 competition, but like 300 searches. It is, you want that search volume. Wedding sign bundle. Okay. So we definitely saw that when we were searching on Etsy that this is potentially a good product to make. Wedding checklist. Wow, there are a lot in here. Even wedding budget, I think that that's still good. Wedding details, probably not, but that's more of like that's not a product. That's just a random keyword. So maybe if you had extra space in your titles or tags, you could add that in. Wedding schedule, I would consider that a good one. Wedding spreadsheet, that is really quite low. I don't think that that would be worth it unless it's a spreadsheet checklist template. So like one of these that's already a good product that we know, but it's in spreadsheet format, there maybe is potential there. Terracotta wedding, this is interesting. So again, this is just like a color. So it's not a specific product, but maybe when you're making your wedding itinerary, you could make a terracotta version because you know that that is a pretty decent keyword. So I think this is enough to show that there are plenty of decent keywords in this niche. Obviously, you could go into each of these specifically because not all of these could be great, but I think there's enough that, you know, we're good with this niche and that this is a niche that definitely can be profitable. So there you have an example from start to finish of how I would actually analyze a niche. Go ahead and do this with your own niche ideas and the particular niches and audiences you've been thinking about. If you have any questions or there's a particular niche you want to ask me about, feel free to comment and ask. I can definitely give my opinion on it as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and follow along. There will be many, many more videos about everything in my Etsy journey and all the strategies I am using as well. Thanks. Bye.